Jose Marti, STEM Academy sophomore, Lehanza Marmbaga, is creating an app which will allow first responders to arrive at emergencies faster than they currently do. The 15-year-old Union City student created the technology following an incident which hit close to home.
We were at our house, and my next-door neighbor actually had a seizure. And so we were all there. We were trying to help our neighbor. We called 911, and we waited for about 50 minutes. Around that time, my dad had already began trying to get him to the hospital. He was ready to actually drive our neighbor to the hospital because we were waiting for so long. But eventually, the EMS did show up, but by that time, that continuous seizure had gone on for too long, so that neighbor passed away, and he was only 25 years old.
Lehanza found out that municipalities, including Union City, outsource their 911 calls to dispatch centers in other towns, meaning an extra unneeded step in notifying first responders is involved, and that added time can result in loss of life.
I'm still working on it, actually, but for the past 2 years, I've actually been incorporating machine learning and really deep learning and natural language processing to try to streamline aspects of the current 911 computer-aided dispatch systems that 911 call centers are currently using. So AI could actually help these operators understand and really recognize specific types of emergencies much faster and thus get to the correct dispatching units faster. And another thing to note is that many of these operators and many of these 911 call centers actually are short-staffed, and workers aren't trained to identify things like, for example, strokes specifically. They have protocols and they have cards that they have to look at for these types of protocols. So listening to a caller describe a stroke and having to go through all these different protocols and try to discern whether they should send a specific stroke unit and label this case as a stroke case really makes a difference. So having AI help them identify and tell them the likelihood of whether this is a stroke case or not, or whether this call needs the fire department and so on, really helps streamline that process and save those number of minutes that could really save a person's life. 911 call centers are having these worker shortages because of climbing unemployment rates, workers who don't really want stress from the job, and the fact that there's more calls coming in over the years, so the influx of calls coming to 911 call centers is only increasing, but the workers there, the operators there to actually answer these calls is decreasing.
For the app to be successful, more real data is needed.
But we want real data, and the program, the app has been working with the data that she has been creating. But what she needs now is actual data to feed into her program to see if it really works, and if there are any glitches that she can work on those glitches and make them work. So what we're trying to do is and I am personally appealing to those 911 center, any center who is willing to share with us the raw data. We know that there is legality because we don't want names of people. We don't want even what city, or just actual data, and they can just give us the call without giving us the rest of the information. That will be very helpful in saving lives.
Because the more data we have to describe different types of cases, fire, police, EMS, specifically stroke cases, for example, the more data we have, the better this machine learning model will be at actually classifying these different calls and actually helping the operator get to the protocols and dispatch centers they need faster.
Lehanza's ultimate goal is for her app to receive a patent.
I was contacted by Yale, specifically from their neuroscience department, because another big problem in this entire 911 call process delay is that doctors are seeing that stroke patients are coming in hours after they've actually had the stroke, and the treatment given to stroke patients is actually time sensitive, and it has to be given within a 0 to 4.5 hour time window, and any time after that makes the medication not as effective. Another thing is that the longer it takes for a patient to get to the hospital to receive this treatment for strokes, the less effective this medicine is at actually helping them fully recover. So doctors are seeing these patients come in hours after they actually have the stroke, and that can be attributed to misdiagnosis during 911 calls. So operators can actually send special stroke case units to people's houses and wherever they've had their stroke, but if that stroke isn't identified in the first place by this operator, who isn't trained specifically for identifying strokes, then that patient's life could be at stake, and they could die because of that delay.
Stanford University is also interested in Lahanza's work, which has received the National Lemelson Early Inventors Award.
But for the young people, like our students, who are trying to make the world a better place by using technology and solving those problems, I'm very, very proud of her and other students who are doing extremely well in really giving back to their community and helping. We should include them in problem solving.
Reporting from the Jose Marti STEM Academy in Union City for Hudson TV, I'm Jeff Hennig.